And welcome back. And we're moving into our final segment for today, as we are now joined by representatives of the U.S. Embassy. We have the Chargé d'Affaires, Adrienne Galanek, and with us as well is an invited speaker from the U.S. Embassy. We have Associate Executive Director of Homeboy Industries, Hector Verdugo. Good morning and welcome.
Thank you.
So it's great to have you here. I know you have an extremely packed schedule to be able to reach out to young people and influencers within the country. And before we move into a bit of the message that you're here to deliver, I want to hear from Adrienne just how Hector fit into the Belize Speaker Program.
Good morning, Marlene. Thank you so much for having us on Open Your Eyes. Good morning, Belize. Hector's the perfect person to be part of the speaker program.
Yeah.
As you know, the work that we do at the U.S. Embassy focuses on citizen security, economic prosperity, and also good governance. And we do those goals in partnership with the government and people of Belize.
Yeah.
But if you were to ask me, sum up your programming in one word, I would tell you it's people. And the work that Hector is doing with Homeboy Industries is really all about people. And some of the most forgotten members of our society in the United States, former gang members. And the work that he does with Homeboy Industries is really a holistic approach and a model to addressing the issues that face former gang members, and then also, of course, at-risk youth as well. I think a lot of the models, Homeboy Industries does not work with at-risk youth, but I think a lot of the work that they're doing, those models can be applied holistically here in Belize.
Yeah.
So.
And Hector, you got the invitation to come to Belize.
Right.
And tell me what your reaction was.
It was kind of like, wow, this is great, that I get to go and spread the homeboy gospel, and it's just an honor to be able to talk about what we do at Homeboy, and really just open the eyes of people to say that we're not bad people. We've done bad things, and I know, and give us a chance to re-enter into society, and providing the tools like that, what Homeboy provides, and watch us just grow and blow up.
Now, essentially, from my understanding, Homeboy Program is kind of like a reform program. You offer some steps that are necessary to be able to help someone get back on the right path. That's my analysis. You can easily put it in your own words.
Sure.
But obviously, that initiative started with you. You
Absolutely.
had to go through that particular path. And my primary question is, change is so often something that we think about, and then there's a tipping point, or there's a catalyst, something that is finally your motivator to say, now is the time.
Right.
What was that for you?
I think it was just a buildup of this lifestyle that I said it was easily, like, from bullets flying by your head to being incarcerated, not knowing if I'm going to spend the rest of my life in prison, people dying around me, and then finally looking at my family and seeing the generations from my grandfather, my father, myself, gang members, and then looking at my sons and saying, oh, this keeps going. I could keep this should not be the legacy of my name, of my last name. It shouldn't. And how do I get out of this web that I know I made the choices. I know it's on me. And how do I get out of this web that I spun for myself? And thank God that there was a place like Homeboy Industries to say, oh, we could help you get out of that web, and we could help you, make a new, become actually not the new, but the real you. Not this gang member from this barrio, but Hector, the intelligent man that can take it as far as he wants to take it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So if I think that is you said one thing that stuck in my mind, that you're not bad people. And for persons on the outside, for people who have fallen into line with an academic program or started working and is making a living, and we say, oh, we did it right.
Right.
You know, you gang members, you did it wrong. How do you help? I mean, you're going to sit down with CEOs, you're going to sit down with police officers, you're going to sit with the people on the other side. What is your explanation as to why people are in this particular type of life and how they should be viewed if you would like to see a change?
Sure. So, I mean, first off, if you made it and you created a great life for yourself, good for you. I'm happy for that you're successful. My success it wasn't. I was born into a crazy life. I was, heroin use. My father had died from a week before from heroin. I could look at all the circumstances that led me to this. And don't get me wrong, there are some people that they had, have a friend, we call him Chia. He had everything that I had, and he became a professor in a university.
Yeah.
So I'd say, oh, it is possible. But for the majority of us, we think, well, chances, how many chances do I get? Well, being at Homeboy Industries as an adult is actually my first chance at making it, where somebody is finally putting their arm around you and saying, hey man, I got you, and we're gonna make a left right here to get on the right path.
Yeah.
So this is our, so for a lot of us, this is our first chance at making a better life for ourselves.
Yeah. Now, I mean, obviously, there's so much power to his own personal, to Hector's own personal testimonial. Adrienne, how do you decide with the speaker program where he will spread this particular message? Thankfully here at Open Your Eyes as well, but where else?
Well, thank you for your partnership with media, because of course you're important partners to spread that message.
Yeah.
And as you know, Marlene, we work with different at-risk youth programs. We have the CARSI grants, for example, that provide since 2008 approximately $7 million to different initiatives working with at-risk youth. We have the GREAT program, training police officers to go into the schools to teach life skills to students, and also leadership and conflict resolution as well. And then we also work in community policing initiatives. So we use all of those networks in order to reach out to our colleagues and partners in order to recommend good places to partner with, as well as Hector will be going out to the youth hostel and Mile 21. As you know, we're working with the Belize Youth Challenge program in partnership with the Louisiana National Guard and their Youth Challenge program. So we look at how can we build on the work that we're doing in country to get at the different areas that we would like to continue to work in and improve our work and engagements as well.
Yeah.
And Homeboy is a great model that I think so many parts of our partnership with Belize can really draw some lessons from. And Hector can tell you a lot more about the holistic
Homeboy,
approach that they take.
So tell us about Homeboy. First of all, how did you find it?
So Homeboy was founded by a Jesuit priest, Father Greg Boyle, and we call him Father G. Father G is just a man where it's just like, he's just he's a man of love and compassion. And I met him when I was in juvenile hall as a kid, and I'm not Catholic but just meeting someone genuine that I could feel from the first handshake, I said, like, oh man, I like this guy. This guy's a good guy. But I was young. I was 13, 14 years old, and that was the last time that I saw him. And then I see him on the news, and I've heard about Homeboy Industries as it grew, and I said, finally, I said, I gotta change my life, and I know that these guys will be able to help me. Yeah. So I went over there and spoke to Father Greg, and just his big old abrazo, it's like, finally you're here, and it took my initiative to get into the door and say, I need to change. Can you help me change?
Yeah.
And then there was a lot of work to do.
I was going to ask you, how hard was it?
It was, it was, I don't know if it was hard. It was hard to pull up all the pain that I had gone through. I didn't even know that I had stuffed so much of my pain down. And through therapy, through creative writing, through healing circles that we provide at Homeboys, this is what got me to release this pain and create to start to heal myself. And that is the biggest thing that we do at Homeboy Industries is healing.
Yeah.
And from all the traumas that we've been through, and we talk about if you don't transform your pain, you're going to be transmitting your pain, and that's gang member stuff. Where you're what's up, and fighting with people and all this violence, but at Homeboys we get to transform it and heal it, and once that happens, you take off the mask the gang member mask that you've always had, that aggression, and I feel at peace, and then now it's like bring on the world, because it's on, and then you end up in places like Belize talking about it
on TV, telling us all about the story.
Right.
Now, there's a very critical part of this process, and I really want to hear your insight on it, because we have intervention programs in Belize, some more successful than others, and it's all based on an individual, how willing, how hard they work, and other circumstances, just to be clear. But the challenge is, when you go into a program and you learn to transform your pain, and you learn to take off the aggressive mask of a gang member or a murderer or a hitman or a drug dealer, and you build skills for yourself, but then you must return to the very same environment, it can be hard. And we have seen where persons who have chosen a different life then become a target. There's redemption for all that you had done before. How does Homeboy work with that particular scenario? How do you reintegrate yourself, reorient yourself back into a society where you were known for the bad things you did when you no longer want to do that?
Well, for me, it was, and being in Los Angeles, I can't compare it to Belize because I don't know the culture here too much. And Los Angeles is so spread out. Yeah. But for a while, it was, I had to make a choice not to go back to where I came from, not go back to the projects. I love where I grew up at, and I have a lot of friends there. But they're continuing to do what they do, and I want to do something different. Yeah. So for a long time, I felt pretty lonely. But there's a flip side to that. As it sounds negative being lonely, was I was finally alone to myself, and I got to deal with me and read books that elevated my mind and got me to think a certain way, and being comfortable in my own skin. It was as if it was planned to be this way. Yeah. I still go to my neighborhood to say what's up to my friends, and my mom lives there, and that's the community where I come from, and I'll never deny that. But during that loneliness, during that time where I was kind of by myself, I made new friends that were on a positive tip, and even my old friends that are business owners and stuff, is just creating my own community. Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong, I've seen friends that come in, they're strung out on heroin, and they're going through issues, and I'm happy and I'm proud to be there, to be able to say I could help you. Like, I could genuinely help you. I could get you into a rehab or a detox. I could get you into Homeboy Industries and have you start off your life like the way I started, from poor to drug dealing and making money and all this stuff and all that crazy stuff, back to humble means of $8 an hour at Homeboy Industries, and now back up again. And it's building a foundation that's solid compared to being on sand.
What do you find to be the biggest challenge or the thing that holds people back the most from joining a program like Homeboy, from venturing into making changes on their own, especially from a life of criminal activity to getting back on the right road?
I think it's fear. Fear of the unknown. if you're surrounded yourself with people who this lifestyle of being in the underground and gangs and you kind of created this false sense of like family, but it's really a road to death. And we're saying, here, drop that and pick this up. And one of the fears was, well, what if I fail at that and I've already dropped that? Then what? Mm-hmm. So fear is a big enemy of success, and I think that's the biggest problem.
Yeah.
So when people come to Homeboy Industries, it's up to us as a community to embrace them and say, like, we won't let you fail.
Yeah.
As long as you keep going forward, as long as you show initiative that you want this, that we will be there for you.
Yeah.
And there are some people who they come in, but they don't want to grab this, and they're just full of fear. And I can see them. I say, let go, bro. Let go of that stuff. Mm-hmm. You're not going to go nowhere, and you know this. Mm-hmm. And we love them to the best of our ability, and then they say, I can't do this, and then they go back. And I say, okay, I guarantee you, if you don't die, or if you don't go to life in prison, you will be back. Because this is what you want. You wanted this love. Father Greg talks about community trumping gangs, and we create that community.
Yeah. Now, being able to take care of the psychological needs, whether it's processing what kind of childhood you had, what kind of traumatic experiences you've been through, is a very necessary step.
Absolutely.
But there are other elements that must be integrated as well. Tell us about how you move beyond building a stronger person to giving that person, or allowing for that person to have tools that they need to move on with their life.
So besides the most important, I feel, thing of healing through therapy and this type of thing, the tools that you get is, getting your GED. First thing is getting your high school equivalent. Second would be, and not in this order either, is tattoo removal. Taking off the tattoos off your face, your neck, your hands, and
Did you have any?
I didn't have on my face. I had them on my arms, and I've done my tattoo removal, and so that's one thing. And then next is learning how to work. The soft skills of being on time and coming in with your uniform and
Customer service.
all that customer service, and then you move up in increments of first you're in the front and you're doing janitorial work, and really we're just taking care of all your major needs. So you come in with your hair on fire, and it's because my parole and this and that, and we're saying, hey, calm down, man, breathe. We got you. You need help with this? We'll help you with that. You need help with your parole? Here, get in my car. Let's go over there. Your case manager is going to hold you. Your navigator is going to walk you through the program and be with you from day one to the day you leave. And again, learning skills, your job skills, and we have our solar panel to learn specific type of skills. We learn how to understand the whole solar panel thing and install it. And then you have unions that are hooked up with us, that are teaching you math to get you into an apprentice program and get you a nice wage. And I could just keep going on from there.
What do you think, and you have the opportunity, you're talking with young people, what we call at risk, which is those who are more vulnerable to joining gangs. I think everybody has their own definition, but that's what I understand it to be. What do you think you can tell them that can dissuade them from following in the path of their older brother or uncle or father? And for some of them, it's the only life they know.
I hear you. I could come and I could say, don't do this. And they know, the young guys, young men and women that are thinking about joining gangs, I could tell them they're gonna, death is around the corner and prison and this type of life. And they already know. Yeah. They know. I just want them to know that if it's, for them to be able to see that their potential, but I can't really do it in passing. It creates dialogue. It's the community that's going to be able to. I'm a foreigner to come over here, But I can talk to the leaders that you know our embassy has set up, and we could talk to the community as best we can here on this show, and it's up to the community to step up, you know, to create this environment where, you know, second chances, third chances, fourth chances, to put our arms around our people and say, hey, you know, here, I'll help. Come and work with me. I'll help you out with your skills, and then be able to have that compassionate ear to. You'll notice that people just want to be seen and be heard, and they talk and just listen. I have to learn to shut up, Hector. Just listen, you know, and let people just dump the stuff that they haven't been able to get a chance to get out. I think that, you know, gang members and people like us are, you know, we just shut up. And we get to the point where we're incarcerated. You know, don't speak, Hector. Stay quiet. Just pay attention, Hector. You know, like that's already set, and there's no outlet. And the outlet comes out in violence and negative.
So, in meeting with the police department, with the community groups, with some of the formal programs that are already established for children who have come in conflict with the law, what do you hope that they would understand about working with this particular population? Because there are lots of assumptions made. Some of it is based on research, some of it is based on statistics, but having lived the life, having made the changes, what do you think is the one thing that institutions and leaders tend to miss?
I think that, so in the beginning with LAPD, it was all about suppression. Just suppress, and just, you know, cops that are mean and they're just ready to, you know, gang members are the enemy, and just, you know, and they did their job and they did it to the best of their ability, and you know, we went through some crazy stuff with them, and you know. The flip side is, as I'm starting to see things change, is they're starting to become conscious. They're starting to understand what Homeboys is about, and they're starting to speak the same language. According, you know, from the officers that I've spoke to, you know, Chief Arcos and Captain Labrada, and so I see this is starting to make a difference with community policing, where they come with there's a certain sensitivity. It's not suppression. It comes with understanding and being able to look people in the eye, say hi, simple, very simple things, but that creates, you know, I am you and you are me, and with that type of attitude, instead of, you know, you're gonna listen and that's that. You know, I believe. When we start to see each other with a compassionate lens, it'll make a difference.
Yeah. So Adrienne, talk to us a bit about how you've been able to use the message of Hector and Homeboy and have it supplement some of the programs that are currently in place in Belize.
I think the message of Hector Hector's the perfect messenger for the program, for what we're trying to do as well in partnership with Belize. I think compassion. I think that's a really important message, and the importance of communities. So just working together, pulling in the different parts of government, pulling in the different parts of communities, NGOs, organizations to address issues of at-risk youth, and of course also how do you reintegrate former gang members into society so that the problem does not perpetuate itself, that we are all part of the solution. So it fits perfectly into the programming, but it's not something that will solve here today. It's something that takes a long-term approach, and I'm sure Hector can tell you, how long is the program? Is it 18 months?
For people to come in, it's 18 months. They get paid for 18 months to be with us. That, you know, it's a $10.50 an hour. It's a wage to help them with the rent and bills and stuff. But at the end is you know, a job would be waiting for them if they want it.
And that's a key part because you need to incentivize the program, right?
Yes.
Do you think you would join Homeboy if there were no financial incentive for you in place?
I couldn't have.
Most couldn't, because how would you make your money if you stopped dealing drugs or doing anything else?
Of course, you have to live.
So I think that's one of the elements that oftentimes, and there's a lot of debate about it, right? So let's say it's a government program and it's public funds. What do you say to people about why this is a worthwhile investment and necessary to the transformation that you want in your society?
I mean, you look at the problems, whatever that you see. If you don't like seeing graffiti on your walls and people dealing drugs, shootings at nighttime, all the problems that come with violence, it's definitely, and more importantly is people, they want to feel the dignity of working. Men and women want to feel the dignity of making their own, a clean dollar and provide for their families. So the beauty that I see with our government and your government and the NGOs that are passionate to look forward is there has to be something could happen. That whether bringing in a new industry or something into for the people of the community in Belize, and giving these guys a chance to make it and create their own money and get some entrepreneurial type of programs going.
Can you talk, Hector, a little bit about the industries that Homeboy?
Sure. So Homeboy Industries has a cafe, we have a bakery, we have a merchandise and silk screen where we do all our shirts and embroideries on our shirts and whatever company that you want to come to. We have a diner in the city hall. We have a cafe in LAX, our airport. We have a recycling company.
You do solar panel installation?
We don't do solar panel, but we teach that.
Yeah.
And there's.
So what you do is offer skills and to also build businesses where there is the apprenticeship that can take place. Well, it's more than apprenticeship; it's a job, right?
It's a wage that it's a wage that I would say it's not a job. It's a program, and we pay you. So when people come in and we say, like, look, are you here for the check or are you here for the change? Because if you're here for the check, let's just get you a job and you could go about your way, and more than likely it's not going to work. Because the change needs to happen before the job. I need to heal from my wounds, and then I could be able to get a job and thrive in that job. I've seen people or back in the days where it was only about a job. Father Greg was nothing stops a bullet like a job, and but when the guys would get these great jobs, they would end up getting fired real fast, and it was like, okay, well, what's going on? And that's how we evolved and say, oh, we have to heal from all these.
All
wounds.
the other skill sets that you never learned.
Well, the wounds that we have inside, the traumas that we've been, that simple things could just make me blow up, and it's not normal. That's what I looked at it myself, that it wasn't normal, and then now I have to figure out why am I like this, and through speaking about it and opening up those wounds and finally being able to cry or getting and understand me. I get all that stuff out, and now I feel good about myself. I know who I am.
So Adrienne, if someone would like to hear Hector's presentation, is there any public event where someone would be able to see it, or you already have your designated location?
That's a good question. I think, today Hector's going to be out in more formalized settings, but we will do on Friday, we'll be in May Gordon Park talking to youth in the morning in Belmapon. And then also up in Orange Walk tomorrow, there'll be a presentation. If you contact the U.S. Embassy, and we'll also try and post on Facebook some of the public events so that people can reach us.
Of course. And Hector, you can go ahead and speak right into this camera here to those who won't be able to. We are struggling with gang issues here in the city. There's a loss of security for citizens, but most importantly, there are programs established to try to get people to venture into wanting to change their life. So go ahead and share a part of that message with our viewers about the importance of going after that change.
Well, there's a couple things that you could check out. Go to our website, homeboyindustries.org, And there's a couple great books that I would love to share with the people of Belize. One of them is Father Greg's book. It's called Tattoos on the Heart. And it's just a great read about compassion. And the next book that changed my life, like completely, with understanding my thoughts. It's called The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. I think when we habitual thinking, whether it be on the negative side of violence and you know, listening to, you know, certain music that promotes violence and watching movies that promotes violence, and I'm not feeling great about myself, and so I'm out there being violent, and to switching to our thoughts on being on peace and love and abundance, and feeling things that are, thinking of things that are pure. It sounds, you know, if I'm talking to gang members, I know that sounds crazy.
Yeah.
But this book will help you to, again, grab your thoughts, understanding your thoughts, and watching the results of changing your thought process, and watching great things happen in your life, as I've watched in mine, miracle things. I'm from the projects. I've dealt with all I've dealt with, and I've been through Homeboy Industries, and I'm traveling the world. It's unbelievable what I've.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. There we go.
Do you have a motto, something you say to yourself anytime you start to question whether or not you're making progress, kind of to remind yourself how far you've been? A mantra, anything?
There's a few things that I think of. I think of, you know, to lead in love, and you know, where's your compassionate lens? You know, that, you know, you got to keep those compassionate lenses. You know, when you start getting caught up in everything, then you start going black and white, good, bad, and it's like, no, stop. There's all this gray in there. Put your lens back on. Pay attention to, you know, being compassionate toward my brother and sister.
All right. Well, thank you for stopping in, and we've really only gotten a snippet, I'm sure, of the message that you're here to relay.
Thank you for having us.
And Adrienne, we appreciate the embassy bringing Hector to Belize, and of course sharing this part with his story with our viewers, as you several scheduled activities in different parts of the country, so people will be able to have access to the message itself, right? And to get more info, they can check out your Facebook page, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Marlene.
All right, enjoy the rest of your trip.
I sure will.
All right,
Thanks.
we're going to go ahead now, take our final break, and when we come back, we'll have our wrap-up.